Sunday morning. It's about 8:40 right now, and I've been having a lot of issues with Sony Vegas Pro. And if you've watched the last video, I didn't edit anything. I just threw it together. I've been on it for like a couple hours, and pushed back some time on that one because I was really trying to head out to IFO's Bakersfield. Um, and the Sony Vegas Pro really set me back on a couple hours. Was hoping to get out there by 10 to see the qualifying runs. Kind of want to go out there to end my 10-day vacation. Go out there, see some races, see some familiar faces, and find some motivation for my cars. But yeah, what I got to do right now is I got to do a compression test on the A6 over there, so that way I can determine if it has a head gasket blown or not. And if it is, I'll change it, then I'll sell it. I have an interested buyer right now. If I do that in time, just to get the result for the compression test, and if I have time to get there by 11 o'clock or 11:30, 12, then I'll head to Bakersfield. But if it takes longer and it's about 10 o'clock by the time I'm done, I'm probably just going to stay here and put the motor into the car. So I'm going to get to it now, waste less time, and determine what I'm going to do after this. And the results are in. I am not going to Bakersfield today. In conclusion, cylinder 1, 2, 3, 4, we got 150, 120, 110, 175 being the highest here. And taking that they had oil in there, so this was tested with oil. And I returned the leak down tester already, but I'm just gonna probably put like some air in here and keep it about 40 and see if air is coming out at TDC on any of these cylinders. Well, thank God for industrial vacuum. I was able to just kind of vacuum that up. I used some of this Turtle Wax Power Cut carpet cleaner, sprayed it all foam with this brush, scrubbed it while vacuuming at the same time. All that shit that was right here is gone. Smells a little bit better. It's a little bit wet still, but definitely I'm able to definitely work in this area. My brother heater doesn't work. I don't know if his heater box is fucked up or whatever the case may be, but he wants me to pull the dash out, and he has another heater box from the red right-hand drive wagon I posted years ago when I did the swap, and I still have the heater box from that one, and he wants me to swap it in here so he can have heater if that box was messed up or whatever the case may be. But if I had the dash off, it'd be a lot easier for me to do the wire tuck and pull the AC shit out of it, because I'm not under the car on the wet carpet to try to tuck all the wires in. Instead, with the dash off, I can just sit right here and pull them through. So probably gonna pull the dash off. I'm not 100% set on it yet, but if it makes it easier for me, that means the engine is gonna the engine's gonna have to go in late today or tomorrow, or like I said, I'm not really in a rush to do it, but I do kind of want it to sit in here just so I can kind of get an idea of what else I need to modify, so on and so forth. So let's do it. Took a quick break to set up this new canopy for the backyard, since the other one was, I don't know, wasn't sturdy enough. But got this all steel set up, and I'm going to set this up real quick before I go back to working on the car. So done with that. All right, guys, back in the garage, and these earmuffs are really comfortable. They're made by 3M, and at work I wear them like every single fucking minute that I'm there. So I'm used to having earplugs on, and sometimes I even wake up at night with them still in my ear. And so I'm back here in the bay of the car, and my goal now is, because after I already vacuum and scrub the carpet, I hopefully it's somewhat dry, pull the carpet back, pull the dash, pull the AC unit out. That bag right there is full of the headlight harness and shit, so I'm gonna try to get that inside, and then delete the power steering and loop it up, whatever I got to do there. And then so once that two big task is done, I'm gonna try to get the motor in the car. And I know I've said it in the last video too, but I had to help my dad, so you know, priorities first. Dashboard is out. Now everything is easy accessible. I'm gonna have to go to the junkyard. I'm sorry about that cough. I'm gonna have to go to the junkyard, get the AC delete duct. I had one in this car, but I had to throw that into the CRX I worked on Sunday. Pull that out, pollen everywhere. Holy fuck, lucky for me I ain't got allergies. He was complaining probably about, why do I have a heater in my car? Well, that duct is completely disconnected. But I'm probably going to change this out with a good one in the backyard anyways. Kind of process of elimination, so I don't have to do this again later. So I'm going to pull this out, pull that out, run that tuck wire. Sorry, I'm yelling at my, I'm tired. Anywho, I'm sorry. Okay, sorry. So I'm going to run that harness right there, the driver's side headlight harness, to the hole over there. And I'm going to remove those ducts, so that way it's easier for me to feed them through. Change this out with another heater unit. Eliminate that. Pull this out so I can pull the harness in and run that out the side like I'm doing the wire tuck. And then, yeah. So all the units are out. Under the dash is a lot more roomier for me to pull the harness in. So right here, this is where I'm gonna pull the harness into the cabin. The AC used to sit right here. This is the AC hole, the port. And normally I run my harness, I'll show you guys later on that. I normally loop it up like this, and then the fuse box sits on this right here. But there used to be a stud here, or there was supposed to be a stud here, but in the wagon for some reason it's a nut, so I can put a 10 mil screw into it. I hope it's a 10 mil. Maybe it's a 10 mil, I don't know. Fuse box sits right here. ECU sits in the same spot, and then I route the headlight harness along the side here, going into this, where you can see the harness right there. That goes out to the door right here. So the harness is going to run through the fenders, and I've covered that before. But yeah, so with all this stuff out of the way, I'm able to pull it in easier, get done with it much faster, rather than being upside down trying to figure it all out. Still contemplating on making a hydro conversion for my brother instead of running a clutch cable to an actuator. Now that everything is off and pedal is more accessible, I'll reinstall all of this once I get the AC. Once everything in the bay is somewhat close to being done, I'll come back in here and redo all of this. But right now it's going to stay out. Same thing on the other side. Route that into the hole, and hopefully getting closer to put that motor in. Next up, pull the harness, power steering. Alright, so I attempted to delete the power steering unit while still retaining the power steering rack. It's not the best way to do it, because ideally if you want to remove the power steering system, you'd want to remove all of this and get a manual steering rack, right? Because the wagons also offered it, because my other wagon didn't have power steering. But I couldn't find any write-ups or anything of that sort to loop the power steering unit here on the rack. Only the EGDCs and EKs where they had a kit, or people did hard lines where you loop the two lines together. For the EF, there's 3 of these lines, and they all run into the whole same system. So that means, you know, every single one of those is gonna hold fluid. So following, you know, the guidance of the other chassis, I loop the 3 hard lines together. You can see here, this is the 14, this is the 17, this is the 12, and I use a plastic tee instead of a metal one, because this is all I had in the bin. A bunch of hose clamps to clamp all 3Ds together into the T. So technically all these 3 are going to circulate the fluid, and I'm not 100% sure if it leaks. I would know if it leaks when I go into the car and turn to the left, to the right, to see if it's leaking out of it. But I don't use these cheap ass Harbor Freight hose clamps, because they tend to when you try to tighten them up, they just start skipping. You can see it right there, how it starts skipping. So I get these heavy duty ones. They're more stronger. They're like steel or whatever the fuck this is, because you can tighten the shit out of it and it won't skip like this one did. And you know, because I'm using like a diameter hose of like a 14, but I'm putting a 12 hard line into it, so I'm able to tighten it as tight as I can to close the gap between this hose and this hard line, and prevent it from leaking. So that's how I'm doing it. Now I'm gonna remove the whole unit out of the fucking bay, so that way I can now move that brake line over and maybe try fitting the motor in place. I know a lot of you guys had issues or have issues with taking out this rear bolt for the rear mount right here. The one in the back, you can't really put a socket or a hand wrench back there. And I don't know if a lot of people know, but if you take a mid-size socket, maybe about 2.5 inch 14 millimeter on a swivel extension, you see that? Swivel, right? Swivel. You take that shit, you put it through the top here. I wish I had the flashlight on, but hold on. Okay, see how it's a straight shot going down there? So you take the swivel lip dick, put it straight down, so yeah, just locked into place. Hand wrench, ratchet, impact, whatever. There you have it. That's how I treat my Makita. Right? There's your mount. There's your bolt. So yeah, that's, damn, this motor mount's still pretty damn good. But anywho, I know it's anyhow, but anywho, that's how you get it out. Okay? In case you guys want to change motor mounts to solids, or I don't know, window welded or whatever the fuck you want to do, insert it. Well, you can technically put the insert while it's still on there, but that's how you remove that mount. Okay. All right, for the K-swap EF guys, or it may apply to the other chassis too, I'm not sure, but you got to move the brake line, because the valve cover sits literally like right here. Okay, so you gotta, mine's I've never done this before. Mine is brake line tuck, so I don't have to worry about this, but I'm not doing it for this car. I don't want to touch the brake system in this car at all. I don't have to worry about doing an extra step of bleeding the system, because I really hate doing that. So yeah, I see that the bracket's sitting on this side, and I want to move the bracket on this side so I can bolt it to the firewall. Now you want to break it loose here from the plastic clip, and then the one here at the bottom. I didn't look up any write-ups, so common sense, bend it over without kinking the lines. It's probably better if you took off all these clips so they're not binding each other. So I'm probably gonna do that now. I do not know how to do this. Okay, well, that works. So they're all individually free, and these lines are very, very, very soft. I mean, not soft, they're hard lines, but you can bend them with your finger. So if you need to bend them to whichever angle causes it to not bind each other, go for it. These are, I have no idea what these are. These are Torx with the screw in the middle. I mean with the little nipple in the middle. So I don't have tools for that. But I'm just gonna go ahead and bend them over slowly. Slowly. Keep an eye on the lines. Make sure they're not bending or kinking too hard. You don't want it to kink, causing insignificant brake flow. So far it seems to be working out. I'm sure I can come up with some type of bracket to hold this in place. Okay, so I held it in place with a zip tie. I can technically leave like that, but you know, kind of don't want to do that. So with the zip tie holding it in place, I made this little bracket here with some scrap metal pieces I found around the garage with 2 washer. I didn't take it, I just melted it together. But let me show you what I did here. Let me see right here. Okay, cool. So this right here is gonna go to one of the 10 mils on the bracket where the fuel filter used to sit at, and so it goes on like so, like that. Unfortunately, I did not think this one through. I need to get a 10 millimeter without the washer. Well, I just happen to have one right here. Okay, so 10 mil without a washer. Hopefully it bolts up. Still does not. Son of a bitch. I'm gonna try my best to put it on anyways. Okay, so it's on, and then I welded a nut to the back side of this washer, which allows me to just kind of bolt it in place rather than using a 10 millimeter hand wrench on the back side to hold the nut while I am installing this piece. I have no idea why it is not going. Might have overwarped that 10 millimeter nut, but I am not giving up. Alright, so I had to cut up the last one and weld a new washer to it and another bolt or nut on the other side. So now it's stable in place, good to go. I think that's the last piece to move. Subframe notched, power steering gone. I kind of want to test fit it right now. I mean, it's like 6 o'clock, The Walking Dead is on, and the only issue I'm probably going to have is the supercharger running into it right here. But I won't know until I get it in place, so fuck it. Let's jack it up. Alright, so I took the exhaust off the hanger and kicked it off to the side because I know it's in the way of the transfer case on the K series. And I also removed the front half of the drive shaft where it connects to the vicious cup. And they are 3, 4, 10 mil 12 point. And it's a little complicated to get to. So you're going to need like a either a wobble socket to get to it or a hand 10 mil 12 point without the gear head, so it's a lot more slimmer on the edge because it's really close to the this edge right here. You can see it where you can't even stick the gear head into. You see what I mean? But yeah, so I took off the front half drive shaft. So just trying to autofocus here, and I'm about to jack it up from the center how I originally did it with this brick and the 3-ton jack, and we're going to try to get it up as high as we can to clear the K and try to get an idea of where the supercharger is going to hit the housing. And I'm going to have to cut what I'm going to have to cut to make it work. Saving myself some time here. I cut a chunk of the frame out because I know for a damn fact the supercharger is going to be sitting somewhere right here. So I chopped all of this just so I can lower it and see how much closer it's going to get here before I cut this. So I'm about to drop it in now. Yeah, the motor's got to come up a lot more, and you can already see the mount is not even close, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a 90 right here, just enough to so the supercharger can come up past the support. Holy fuck. Anyways, about to trim that, and then oh, this shit looks so good. The brown and silver, I don't know, looks really nice. But yeah, I'm gonna cut it. I'm gonna do what I have to do. My brother has suggested I cut it from here to here and use my fab skills to make a new bracket. The headlight's gonna be another situation, but right now I'm gonna trim it just to see if I can get it to work here instead of cutting the whole thing, and then probably make this more rigid if it works out. So definitely a lot of fucking gap right there. I might want to do a 1-inch spacer, or yeah, spacer, whatever. But you see a transmission is like really close back there. I might have to take off that shield. That's for the power steering that I put it back up. Earlier I had issues with the oil filter because I just realized it has an oil cooler and it has an adapter. So I'm gonna have to pull that adapter off so that way I can fit the oil filter down there. Other than that, let's cut. With a little bit of help from my brother, the motor is mounted. Just the left and right side though. I haven't done the rear mount yet because it's kind of dark back there. But I had to hack up the frame a lot. I'm actually going to cut all this out because that's way too close. But for the most part, the motor is hung. Transmission mount is on. Looks like we cleared the rear. I didn't even need to notch that frame right there, but I did it anyways, and you can see how much play I got going on back there. Differential clears. Yeah, no, that's pretty much it. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm just gonna clean up and then see if there's anything else I can mess with tonight and do it. Maybe fuel lines, I'm not sure. Maybe just save that for tomorrow or something. But yeah, K20Z3 supercharged all-wheel drive. Alright guys, so I've decided that I'm gonna call it a night. Got a lot done today. I still haven't seen The Walking Dead, so I kind of want to call it now because it's getting kind of cold, dark. I haven't seen The Walking Dead yet. I have In-N-Out Burger. It's been sitting there for like 40 minutes now. My brother got it for me while I was putting the motor into the car. You can obviously see hood does not close, but not by much. I won't know how much I need to cut until the rear mount goes on, until the engine is fully aligned inside the engine bay. So yeah, this is it. K20Z 3 all-wheel drive, supercharged, and from here it's only going to get easier. Just got to do simple stuff like run the harness in, which is real quick. Fuel line. I have a traction bar in the backyard. He's lucky that I got that from my wagon truck. Suspension is all easy shit. Exhaust is all last. Not worried about the drive shaft now because we're gonna dyno it on 2-wheel drive, then go to the drive shaft shop and get a custom one made. Other than that, like I said, simple shit. But the heart's in, and that's gonna conclude this video. I'm tired as fuck. I'm gonna clean up. And if you guys like this video, I mean, I'm not gonna keep saying this shit, but you guys know what to do. See you guys in the next one. Cheers.